So it's been a couple of weeks, but I wanted to finish off my Stephen King review thing that I've been doing. Basically it was for Halloween, and now we're way past Halloween. But yeah, let's talk about some more Stephen King movies. You might be wondering why the delay, Rob. Well, I did have a sickness, and it basically took me out of commission for a couple of weeks. You can probably still hear that my voice has got some things, it's still where I'm still getting over it, but I'm okay. And we're going to keep moving forward. Now, before we get too far into it, I do want to mention I got this from Australia, from Via Vision Entertainment themselves. And it is a pretty cool, box set from them. It's a very neat, like everything is just really, really nice. And then everything's really well laid out. I really like this box set. But got to be honest with you, I'm feeling a little bit of buyer's remorse because some of these movies aren't great. Now, I will mention that I have seen a few of these movies already. 1408 is easily, to me, the best movie in the bunch. This movie was one of those where as soon as I saw it, I'm like, I want that. I want that movie. I want to own it. I love it. I love the story. John Cusack, Samuel L. Jackson. I really like this movie. I just never got around to buying it, but now I have it, and I'm very happy about that. The next movie on the list is probably the second best, in my opinion, and that is The Mist. This is a very famous movie because Frank Darabont did this movie. Of course, he did Shawshank Redemption, he did The Green Mile, and he did The Mist. And he changed the ending, and the ending is divisive. Some people absolutely love it and they think it's awesome, and some people think it ruins the movie. But Stephen King himself said that he loved the ending so much that Darabont came up with, that he wishes that he came up with that for the ending of his book. But yeah, it's a pretty cool one. And what's neat is that this one actually includes on disc 2 the black and white version of the movie. And I don't think I've ever seen that. So I'm anxious to check that one out. Now, the next one is Secret Window. I have seen this movie before. I remember thinking it was fine, but not great. Basically, I bought this because there were 3 movies I've never seen and 2 movies I really liked. I thought, hey, great. But the problem is the last 3 movies that I hadn't seen before, wow, there's. Now, the first movie that I watched out of this box set is, I'm just going to say it, it's probably the worst in the whole box. And it's called Riding the Bullet. And basically what this story is about a young man who's in college and, or just out of college. Does it matter? It probably doesn't. Anyway, he finds out that his mom is dying. So he is rushing home to see her, and he is hitchhiking on the way there. And he is picked up by a stranger with a deadly secret. And this stranger is played by David Arquette. And yeah, it's weird. This is one of those movies that I'm always looking at different movies of varying qualities, right? And you kind of think, you know what? Somebody put 100%. They put everything they had into making this movie. So it's hard for me to really blast movies, you know what I mean? To really criticize them and break them down to where they're just like a shell of nothing. And you're like, this is the worst piece of trash, whatever. I'm not going to say that about this movie, but here's the thing. It's technically looks fine, sounds fine, the performances are fine, but there's just no soul in it. I don't feel the passion, in this story. I don't feel like I don't know. I know there's probably people that worked really hard on it, but I'm looking at this and I go, just the way that this is presented, I don't feel any of the passion. I don't feel it in the direction, like the way that shots are set up. It's by the numbers, and even the editing, the way that it's paced, it's like there's no urgency, there's no life in this movie, and I can see why it didn't do well. Now, the next one on the list is Needful Things, and I actually enjoyed this one quite a bit. It's not top tier, but it was pretty good. Like there were a lot of things I liked about it, and that's mainly because the cast was just stellar. Basically, what Needful Things is about, it's a small town, right? And in Maine, of course, because it's Stephen King, right? Everything's got to be in Maine. But a mysterious new shop opens, and the guy that runs it is just like this. He's really he's got this charisma, and people just kind of gravitating toward him and this store. And the store seems to have like like things that are the deepest desires of the people that shop there. Needful things, right? The things that they just got to have it. But in order for them to get these things, there's a price to be paid. Now you've got some pretty big stars in this movie. You've got Ed Harris, who's I think a great. He's just, I mean, come on, everybody loves Ed Harris, right? Does anybody not like Ed Harris? I don't know. But anyway, you got Bonnie Bedelia, who I think has always been solid. You got J.T. Walsh. He's always been one of my favorite character actors of the late 80s, early 90s. He's just a great guy. Unfortunately, he did pass away, but man, what a terrific performance that he brings here. He always puts in a good performance, and I like him here. And you've got Amanda Plummer, and she's definitely quirky, and she's got that quirky thing going on here. But really, this movie is all really, it just gravitates around Max von Sydow and his character. It is a performance where I guarantee you that no matter how good or bad the script was, he looked at this character and he said, I'm going to have fun with this one. I think the story's really good. And the whole reason that I was really excited about seeing this movie is because supposedly there are characters that tie into the Dark Tower. I'm reading the Dark Tower right now. So I'm interested to see what those connections are. I don't think I've gotten there in the Dark Tower yet for these characters. But anyway, I've just really enjoyed going through the Stephen King sort of universe, and learning more about it. So it was really fun to see. The problem comes where it feels like there's so much characterization that the plot never seems to really get going until like the last 20, 30 minutes. And then it's just like all these things happen to wrap the whole story up like super fast. And it doesn't really give you an opportunity to sit with it for a second and understand, what's going on, I guess. And then it just ends. So it was kind of a weird one. Now, the interesting thing about this disc, and I'm not sure about earlier releases of Needful Things on Blu-ray, but what's interesting is you've got the I guess the full theatrical presentation here on the disc, and it's in stereo. And I was kind of like, I was bummed out. I was like, really? Couldn't even go with a 5.1 on Needful Things? Like, really? But then there's a TV cut, which I didn't realize until after I watched the movie. There's a TV cut of the movie that's like an hour longer, and it fleshes out more of the characters and things like that. Now, I didn't watch that because I read from the director that he thought that the TV cut he didn't like it. He didn't like the TV cut. He said the cut that came into the theaters, that was his preferred cut. So I kind of stuck it there. But here's the thing. The TV cut is in 4:3, right? 4:3, not 16:9, but it's in 5.1. Weird. Fact is, I think that this is a really like it's worthy. It's a worthy Stephen King adaptation. It's not perfect, but I really did enjoy it, and yeah, I actually want to see it again. So I guess that's a good thing. Now, the final movie on the list is actually like a mini series called Bag of Bones, and it's roughly 2.5 hours. And here's another one where, man, I don't understand the point of this one. So the story is, after his wife's sudden death, a best-selling author returns to his cabin retreat where he receives paranormal visitations and becomes involved in a custody battle. Fascinating. The main star of this is Pierce Brosnan, and of course you've got Annabeth Gish, who plays his wife. You've got Melissa George, who plays this lady that lives in the town. There are many times when I'm sitting there going, what? Like that's the decision you wanted to go with? Wow, strange. This is another one where, holy crap, everything just it just culminates in like the last 20, 30 minutes. And I don't understand why it had to be so long. Like it felt really, really, really long. And what is just a strange story. Like I'm interested to know from people who read the book and saw this. I'm interested to know if people actually liked the adaptation, or were they like this was just it felt very meandering until like that last 20 or 30 minutes where all of this plot is thrown at you like bam 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 bam, and some of it is like, okay, I don't know if I would have made that decision. Wow. It's weird. It's a weird movie and not scary at all. It's just like I said, some of the decisions, I'm just going to say it. Some of the decisions are disturbing. And not disturbing in a like, oh man, that's really freaky or whatever. No, like why did you make that decision for those characters? Because that changes my whole outlook on what this show was. I don't get it. I don't understand it. Pierce Brosnan is a strange choice for this role, because I'm sitting there and I'm going, I don't understand why he was chosen for this part, because it doesn't seem like a part that's made for him. It's awkward. It's an awkward performance. I'll just say that. And the fact is, it's very well done. Like it looks good. It sounds good. It's edited well, all that kind of stuff. But it's also like, why are we spending so much time on this? And then when everything happens, it's like, whoa. So when you look at this box set, you've got really The Mist, you've got 1408, Needful Things. Those are all pretty good. Secret Window is kind of meh. Bag of Bones is very not great. And Riding the Bullet is, I'm sorry, it's just bad. It's not the best box set that I could have spent my money on. I'm just going to say that. But I actually did enjoy going through them. I mean, it's a weird kind of thing. It's like, even though there's a little bit of buyer's remorse, I still enjoyed watching even bad movies, Isn't that weird? It's kind of strange, right? So you tell me, have you seen any of these movies, and what did you think of them? And what did you think about the Stephen King sort of review thing that I'd done? I had fun. I had fun with it. I mean, there's a lot of movies I'd never seen before, and it was just kind of fun getting in the spooky mood and all that kind of stuff, even though it's like 10 days late now. But sorry, that's what happens when you get sick. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. So yeah, I mean, when you look at this box set, you kind of go, okay, Needful Things, pretty good. Secret Window, meh. Riding the Mullet, riding the mullet.